The pregnant widow disappeared into the woods. Only her voice came back. This is a true story, and I swear every word I share with you happened exactly as I'm telling you in Cedar Hollow, Maine, during the autumn of 2015. The moment she vanished, the ominous trees whispered secrets only her name could awaken, their gnarled branches clawing at the air, shrouded in a chilling mist that smelled of wet earth and decay. I felt icy fingers brush my skin as I stumbled through the underbrush, the sharp tang of fear bitter in my mouth, all while echoes of her laughter danced just beyond my reach. I was left to watch over her 4-year-old daughter, with danger lurking around every bend, knowing the woods didn't just hide her, they demanded her. The spirits of these ancient trees had claimed her and were sending her voice back as a haunting lullaby, urging me deeper into their suffocating embrace. Before I tell you what happened next, understand that darkness garners attention in strange ways. It's often just a desperate call for help we ignore for too long. As I tried to protect the little girl, I was plagued with a whirlwind of terrifying thoughts and a fierce maternal instinct. Memories of her mother's warmth clashed against the pervasive chill of the woods. Every rustle of leaves sounded like whispers. Each snap of a twig echoed ominously, making my heart race. I clutched the girl close as the sun dipped low, bathing the forest in shadows that seemed to come alive, watching us with silent, watching eyes. With every step, I felt as if the very ground below was using its roots to pull me into a cavernous abyss. The moment of deep fear struck when I noticed strange markings in the ground, deep gouges that seemed to pulsate with an eerie energy, as if the very essence of the woods were alive and vigilant. My heart raced. It was as if the forest were closing in on us, a dark entity weaving its intentions silently among the trees, hungry for our warmth. As fear threatened to consume me, I forced myself to breathe steadily, focusing on the little girl, who remained blissfully unaware of the foreboding danger just outside the realm of her innocent understanding. I felt the heavy weight of responsibility pressing against my chest. I was the only barrier protecting her from the shadowy threats that lurked and watched. That night, we huddled around a small campfire that flickered weakly against the encroaching dark, and I recounted tales my grandmother used to tell about woodland spirits. Her stories had lingered in my mind like old prayers. I could almost hear the soft cadence of her voice guiding me through the lore. "Sometimes you must listen to the whispers of the woods," she had cautioned, her words echoing now like a protective mantra. The fire crackled and sent up sparks that danced like fireflies against the shadows, and I felt that ancestral connection surge through me, reminding me of the secrets these woods held and the guardians that resided within. Summoning all of my courage, I decided to confront the very presence I felt surrounding us, demanding answers even as the shadows closed in. "What do you want?" I demanded, my voice trembling yet resolute, my heart racing in harmony with the pulsing fear beneath my feet. Silence thickened the air, and for a moment, I feared I would be met with nothing but emptiness. Just then, a surge of energy crackled nearby, rattling the branches as if answering my call. "There's something here," I whispered, each breath shallow and quickening as the realization struck me that I was not truly alone. I could feel the pain and longing of lost souls lingering in the shadows, each echo reflecting a distress I could not ignore. As I ventured deeper into the forest with each passing moment, fragments of her plight began to emerge, each revelation darker than the last, whispering secrets that wrapped around my mind like a tightening vice. Occasionally, the trees would groan, their branches creaking under the weight of forgotten stories. A neighbor once spoke of hearing the soft music of her voice, drifting through the woods like an ethereal siren's call, warning of doom buried deep within the soil of Cedar Hollow. The forest itself seemed to shift and transform before my eyes, evolving from an intimidating labyrinth into a cryptic guide filled with ancient power and wisdom. Just when I thought I was making sense of it all, Danger crashed in like a distant storm, a shriek erupting from the thick foliage, a sound that reverberated through the air, paralyzing me with fear. I clutched the girl tightly against me, terrified that the woods were swarming with threats, as dark as the shadows gathering around us. The gnawing reality of our mortality struck hard at that moment, and I questioned my own strength against the encroaching darkness that continued to draw nearer. Then, unexpectedly, clarity broke through the overwhelming dread. The very entity we feared seemed to reveal its true purpose, a protective force enveloped in anguish, struggling to bridge the gap between the lost and the living. Her cries were never meant for harm, but to awaken you, echoed a distant voice in my mind. In that instant, I came to understand. The haunting lullaby that echoed through the trees was an invitation, not a threat. I was being offered a chance to save not just her from the woods, but to unearth the hidden truths buried deep within my own heart. The woods were not simply demanding her voice, they were guiding me to reclaim what I had lost amid my fear. As realization struck, I glanced down at the little girl nestled against me, her big, innocent eyes reflecting the flickering flames of the campfire. She was still convinced that her mother would return. I had to protect that belief a bit longer, even as reality pressed against me like a suffocating shroud. But now, confronted with this sudden clarity, I realized I had to confront the truth of the woods and uncover their depths, even if it meant accepting the unthinkable. With each passing heartbeat, I felt the pulse of the forest, its energy intertwining with mine, coaxing and pushing me forward. The atmosphere was electric with unseen tension, and I urged the girl to stay close as we ventured into the heart of the woods. With every crack of a twig beneath my feet, it felt as if the very trees leaned in closer, eager to reveal their secrets. The path twisted and turned ominously, but I steeled myself, desperately wanting to understand the purpose behind the dark whispers. The forest thickened around us, and I noticed patches of fog curling low to the ground, veiling the landscape in an almost dreamlike state. As we pressed forward, distant sounds began to meld into what I could only describe as a mournful choir, weaving in and out of earshot. This was her voice, melodic yet distressed, calling to us from afar. It was as if the very essence of the woods was orchestrating a haunting melody, urging us to listen. "Do you hear that?" I whispered urgently to the girl, hoping she might sense it too. When she nodded, her expression remained buoyant and hopeful, sending a surge of warmth through my heart. But that warmth was quickly tempered by the gnawing fear that my grasp on reality was slipping with each passing moment. The deeper we went, the stronger the urge to turn back washed over me. Shadows lurked at the corners of my vision, darting away as I turned. Were they watching us, feeding off our fear? If the woods did have guardians, where were they now? I tightened my grip on my daughter's hand as we pushed further into the darkness. Then I stopped dead in my tracks. There, half buried among the leaf litter, was a rusted locket, its chain glimmering ominously in the dim light. My breath caught in my throat as I recognized it immediately. It belonged to her. What was it doing here, in the heart of the forest? I knelt to scoop it up, my fingers trembling as I brushed the layers of dirt away, revealing the tiny engraving of her initials. I looked at my daughter, her eyes wide in wonder and curiosity as I clasped the locket tightly in my hand. "Mommy left this for us," she said, eyes gleaming with excitement. Her innocent belief filled me with a renewed sense of purpose that I could hardly understand. Perhaps this wasn't merely a sign of despair, but a beacon of hope. I slipped the locket into my pocket, vowing to unravel this mystery, to find the connection between her mother and the woods. If I could grasp hold of that understanding, I might be able to bring her back. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted, and an overwhelming chill seeped through the trees. The shadows around us darkened, leaning closer, as if eager to envelop us. I could hear the whispers grow louder, forming words that beckoned us into the depths of the forest. My heart raced as I turned, torn between fear and urgency. "What do you want from us?" I called out defiantly, forcing my voice to cut through the eerie chorus surrounding us. To my surprise, the whispers responded, their voices layered in an echo of 1,000 souls. "Help us find her," they pleaded, each voice weaving in and out like a tapestry of the past. "She is lost, but the answer lies beneath." "What do you mean?" I asked, the fear now braided with intrigue. "What lies beneath? Where is she?" The whispers intensified, swirling around us as the ground at my feet began to tremble. Cold air spiraled upward, causing my hair to stand on end. I felt the heavy weight of sorrow binding me. The realization struck home that these voices were not to be feared. They were seeking connection, desperately yearning for their story to be told. "Trust us," they urged, and for the first time, I sensed a flicker of hope mingled with dread. "Come forward," the voices sang, directing my gaze towards the old oak tree ahead. Its gnarled roots twisted and wrapped around something half buried in the earth, the bark weeping sap like tears, visibly alive in its grief. The little girl remained transfixed, her face a mixture of terror and exhilaration. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. "Hold on tight," I whispered to her. We edged toward the tree, dread and excitement intertwining in an intoxicating rush. I knelt down at the base, feeling the soft earthen ground where the whispers grew louder, compelling me to dig. I used my hands, raking frantically through the soil, pulling away the dirt until fingers grasped something hard and cool, an object nestled deep within the earth. What I unearthed next could change everything. The world around me held its breath, the shadows watching closely as I pulled free an old, crumpled journal covered in damp leaves and soil. The binding was worn, its pages yellowed with age. But who did it belong to? Why was it here, hidden beneath roots that whispered secrets long forgotten? I glanced back at my daughter, who clutched my arm, the reflection of the trepidation in her eyes mirroring my own. "We have to find out together," I promised as I opened the journal, ready to unravel the connections that bridged the chasm between the living and the dead. As the first page revealed a name, her mother's, I knew we were on the cusp of something monumental. The risks were great, but what lay ahead could be the key to bringing her home. With trembling hands, I carefully opened the worn journal, the delicate handwriting invoking a profound connection to a time when the widow had filled its pages with her thoughts, dreams, and sorrows. The faint scent of old paper mingled with the earthy aroma of the forest, wrapping around me like an embrace from the past. The first entry was dated just months before her disappearance, depicting her longing for her family and her growing unease with the shadows that crept closer. "Mommy was looking for something," my daughter whispered, peering over my shoulder, her innocent curiosity lighting a spark within me. Indeed, we were here to help her find that missing thread of connection. Each turn of the page revealed her unraveling life, filled with both hope and dread, the balance of a mother's love in the sight of darkness. But the tone shifted sharply as I reached a passage scrawled in anguish and fear. It spoke of shadowy figures haunting her dreams at night, the same figures that perhaps had lured her from us. "I won't let them take my daughter," she had written, a testament to her fierce maternal instinct. The weight of her words hung heavily in the air, and suddenly I understood. She had not simply vanished, she had been swept away by forces far beyond her comprehension. As the shadows around us deepened, an eerie cold began to seep through the air, swirling around my daughter and me. "They come for me at night," the widow wrote. I glanced at my child, her wide eyes reflecting fear, yet laced with determination. Suddenly, the whispers began again, and I felt them urging me, directing my attention toward the ancient oak tree nearby, its roots twisted tightly around the earth. "Come forward," they sang, making me instinctively step toward the great tree. Its bark wept sap like tears, alive and mourning, almost beckoning us closer. My heart raced. woven tightly into the web of her story as we edged toward the roots, the air thickening with secrets begging to be revealed. "Help me, sweetheart," I said, signaling for my daughter to kneel beside me. Together, we dug into the soil, each thrust of our hands pulling away layers of time. The atmosphere vibrated with urgency as the whispers grew louder, coaxing us deeper. I scraped away dirt until my fingertips brushed against something solid, another hidden object grasped tightly in the roots. We pulled a weathered box free, intricately carved with symbols that seemed almost familiar. My heart thudded louder in my chest, sensing the importance of this find. Together, we worked to remove the remaining dirt, hands trembling with anticipation. "What do you think it is?" my daughter asked, eyes wide with excitement. "It's a memory box," I replied, feeling the atmosphere crackle around us. When we finally pried it open, a cascade of dried flowers, faded letters, and an ornate mirror gleamed from within, reflecting our shocked expressions back at us. Each item a piece of the woman's past, a message from beyond, signs pointing to the missing links between the spirits of the forest and our quest for the widow. As I studied the mirror, realization struck hard. The dried flowers, a token of memory, perhaps lost remnants of love, were intertwined with sorrowful tales still lingering. "Look at this," I said, lifting one of the letters with shaking hands. The ink was faded, yet the words held a gravity that reached to the core of my being. "This is her story," I said, flipping to a page filled with familiar handwriting. I could almost hear her voice rising from the pages, a chorus blending with the spirits of the woods. The whispers around us quieted slightly, almost as if listening, waiting for me to speak. "I think this is what she wanted us to find." The last letter revealed her desperation, a cry for help to find the truth, to uncover the meaning behind the shadows that had led her astray. "I don't want to lose my daughter," her words echoed in my mind, piercing the fog of mystery that clouded our path. The anguish in her writing intertwined with those of the souls whispering through the trees, resonating with each heartbeat. They were seeking peace, just as I was. "Mommy wanted us to have this," my daughter echoed, fully embracing this newfound purpose. There was something stirring in the air, an acceptance of what needed to happen next. We wrapped the mirror in the letter and tucked it safely in my pocket, a promise to uncover the truth, a link to connect us with the widow's tormented past. Suddenly, the wind picked up again, wrapping around us like an unwelcome embrace. I felt something, a shift, a realization that all this time spent in the woods had drawn me nearer to the answers we sought. This wasn't just about finding the widow. It was about understanding the shadows that haunted her and reclaiming what was lost. "Let's follow the whispers," I told my daughter, urgency coursing through my veins. "They might lead us to her." Holding the box tightly as we stood, I sensed the spirits surrounding us, their energy pulsing in sync with my own. With a shared breath, we plunged deeper into the woods, guided by the echoes of a past shrouded in mystery. The connection between the living and the dead blurred, revealing that our quest was not merely to find her, it was also to confront the shadows and allow the past to entwine with the future. As we pressed further into the thickening shadows, the whispers began to ebb and flow like a gentle tide, guiding us deeper into the heart of the forest. Each step echoed with a determination that surged between my daughter and me, solidifying our bond against the uncertainties that lurked around every corner. The ancient trees leaned close, their branches reaching out like arms protecting sacred secrets, whispering through the rustling leaves, urging us on. A rustle sounded behind us, and I turned quickly, heart racing, convinced we were not alone. But when I scanned the darkening space, there was nothing, just the comfortable mist weaving through the trees and the chorus of whispers rising again. "You feel it too, right?" I asked my daughter, who nodded with wide eyes, scanning our surroundings with an intensity that made my heart swell with pride. Her childlike bravery was contagious, igniting my own resolve. The ground beneath our feet shifted, a reminder that the forest was alive, both enchanted and burdened with the weight of countless stories. As we ventured further, the trees began to divide, revealing an opening that led down a narrow, moonlit path. Silvery light bathed the clearing, illuminating a shape at the far end, a stone altar weathered by time, surrounded by wildflowers that danced in the evening breeze. "It's beautiful," my daughter breathed, slack-jawed with awe as we stepped into the clearing. The whispers converged at the altar, mingling like old friends reuniting after years apart. My palm brushed against the cool stone, its surface etched with symbols similar to those on the box we had found, a language of the lost that connected all of us in this moment. Each symbol seemed to pulse beneath my fingers, whispering secrets known only to the forest spirits. "This must be where she sought answers," I marveled aloud, piecing together bits of the widow's life that the journal had revealed. If she felt drawn here, she must have believed it held the key to finding her way back. I turned to my daughter, feeling the weight of responsibility crash over me. If we are to find her, we need to listen. As if summoned, the whispers exploded into a harmonious symphony, rising to a crescendo. "Help us!" they cried, the voices melding with the branches and roots that intertwined below. "Guide her home!" Deeper meanings unfolded, pulsing around us, tying our fates to those lost and longing. The emotions emanating from the forest wrapped us in a cocoon: pain, hope, and an insatiable yearning for return. I placed the box on the altar, my fingers tracing the delicate patterns as I sought to uncover hidden truths. "We must give something back," I murmured as I opened the box and withdrew the mirror, the last glimmers of light reflecting in soft, silvery waves. "Mommy?" my daughter whispered, her voice small against the towering trees. "What do we do?" "Let's show her we're here," I replied, my heart racing as I raised the mirror skyward, the moonlight catching its surface. A beam shot through the forest, illuminating the altar and spreading warmth across the clearing. "We believe in you," I called out, my voice firm as I stared into the depths of the mirror. The air shifted abruptly, swirling with energy, and shadows danced before us, flickering in and out of existence. I felt a presence building close, familiar yet elusive, almost as if she were tapping into my consciousness. "You came," a gentle voice whispered, echoing through the trees, pulling us into a dreamlike trance. "You've finally come home." The words resonated within me, carrying strands of love interwoven with sorrow. I clutched the mirror tighter, encouraging my daughter to hold on to my side as the shadows morphed in the moonlight. "Where are you?" I implored, the weight of fear gathering in my chest. "How can we bring you back?" The shadows shifted again, revealing a gentle glow encircling the altar. A fleeting image of the widow appeared among the ethereal wisps. Ethereal yet so real, her face showed a blend of tenderness and torment, tears glittering like threatened stars against the darkness surrounding her. "I lost my way," she whispered, pain weaving through her voice like a thread of anguish. I followed the call of the forest, drawn deeper into its embrace, and now I cannot find my way back to her. I could feel my heart break at her confession. "But we're here," I urged, my voice shaky yet filled with strength. "We believe in you. We're ready to help you find your way." The wind rose again, swarming around us, carry her whispers, mingling with our cries for connection. "Your love is the key," she replied, her image shimmering as the shadows fought to keep her bound. "The darkness, it tries to keep us apart, but you must trust the truth of who you are, the love that binds you both." "Mommy, we believe," my daughter affirmed, her innocent voice ringing clear above the rustling branches. I felt a profound wave of warmth wash over me, an energy that connected us to this moment, weaving our fates together. "You must embrace the light within," the widow urged, her shimmering figure flickering. "You can break the curse, shatter the chains that bind me. But first, you must reclaim the fragments of my heart." As she spoke, shadows surged, swirling around her, pulling taut as though revealing the truth. My heart pounded, nerves and excitement colliding within me. "What can we do?" I shouted, desperation tinged with hope. "Find the tears that lie buried, those that feed the darkness," she said, her form beginning to fade, "and unveil the light that is your bond. Only then will you reclaim what was lost." The widow's image flickered, almost beyond my reach, vanishing into the whispers. An echo of her presence lingered, urging us to fulfill our part of this intertwined fate. I searched around us, looking for something, anything, that might hold the answers we needed. "What does she mean, Mommy?" my daughter asked, a hint of fear lacing her words. "I don't know, sweetheart," I admitted, glancing back toward the heavy branches and roots surrounding us. "But we'll find a way. We just have to remember to trust." Holding my daughter close, I sensed a shift in the air, a whispering promise from the forest that echoed through our hearts. Together we would uncover the fragments of the past, forge new paths toward healing, and ultimately reclaim the widow's lost light. Bathed in the moonlight, we stood at the altar with our hearts racing, sensing the urgency of the moments that lay ahead. My daughter gripped my hand tightly, her small fingers a comforting weight against the anxiety swirling in my chest. "Find the tears that lie buried," I repeated softly, pondering the widow's parting words, wondering what they truly meant. Where would we search? What could lead us closer to the truth? "Maybe the flowers are the tears," she suggested, her voice bright as she pointed toward the wildflowers pivoting amusedly in the gentle wind around the altar. They appeared as though they held secrets of their own, drenched in sorrow, yet vibrant in their vitality. They looked sad and heavy. "Maybe you're onto something," I replied, a flicker of hope igniting in my heart. Together we carefully knelt at the base of the altar, brushing away the delicate petals, revealing something concealed in the earth below. Every packet of dirt we cleared felt like peeling back the layers of grief and time itself. With the whispers of the forest swirling softly around us, almost rhythmic, we dug deeper, our hearts synchronized as we unearthed pieces of the widow's past, stories longing to be told. I shared snippets from her journal as we worked, a life comprised of memories, fears, and love intertwined, each word igniting the path before us, connecting our journeys as mother and daughter. "I found something," my daughter exclaimed, pulling my attention away from reverie. With wide-eyed excitement, she held up a small, intricately designed locket, its metallic surface dulled by the layers of time and dirt that encased it. Together we cleaned it, feeling warmth radiate from its surface as it was gradually unveiled. The locket felt alive, almost as if it pulsed with the energy of shared memories. Upon opening it, 2 photographs revealed themselves. The first captured a young girl with sparkling eyes, laughter frozen on her face. The second was of a woman, with an aura that radiated gentle strength, her arms enveloping the girl. The photos tugged at my heart, binding me to this lost family. "It's the widow and her daughter," I whispered, feeling an overwhelming wave of emotion crash over me. "Do you think this is the missing key?" my daughter asked, her voice a melodic harmony to the emotions filling the space. "It could be," I replied with a cautious optimism. "But we need to find out what this means for us, for her." Reinvigorated by the discovery, we rushed back to the altar, clutching the locket tightly, preparing to invoke the magic around us. "Guide us, spirits," I called softly into the quiet night, placing the locket beside the mirror. The moonlight illuminated the altar beautifully, evidently blessing our sacrifice and shared intent. The warmth of the opening fluttered around us, a soft caress reminding us of the love we were about to invoke. For a moment, the air thickened. The gentle drum of silence pulsed softly, heightening our senses. The echoes of the whispers seemed to morph into something rhythmic, a collective breathing that united us with the energies surrounding the altar. The locket began to vibrate, gaining strength, until suddenly a brilliant light erupted around us. I felt fear rise within me, but I squeezed my daughter's small hand, grounding myself in our connection. Together, we faced the radiant warmth as it enveloped the sacred space, feeling the creak of shadows retreat in reverence. As the light intensified, the widow's shimmering form appeared, radiating a warmth I had not expected. She looked at us, her maternal spirit glowing, her voice echoing like a melody from the past. "You have found it, my heart's treasure," she exclaimed joyfully, her voice resonating through the forest. "You hold the love between us, the bond that extends far beyond shadows." I felt tears prick at my eyes. "We're ready to help you find your way back. Tell us what to do," I implored, feeling the urgency and weight of the moment pressing upon us all. "Embrace the tears that have been buried, those that mingle with the darkness," she urged, her form flickering with hope and strength. "Our love has the power to break the curse, to shatter the chains that bind not just me, but many lost souls in this forest. But first, you must fill the locket with that love, that understanding, to let the light and darkness coexist within you." As her words resonated, I felt a surge of realization. We need to reclaim the love we hold for each other, our memories. I took a deep breath, feeling the energy thrumming with each heartbeat. Together, we can fill this locket with our love. My daughter looked up at me, her eyes shining with courage. "Let's do it, Mommy. Let's fill the locket with all the love we feel." "Okay, sweetheart," I said gently, gathering my thoughts. We each held the locket, thinking of all the precious moments we had shared. We remember our love, each laugh, each hug, every moment where we were there for one another. No matter what, nothing can break us apart. The air around us thickened again, surging with raw emotion and energy as we poured our love into the locket. I let memories wash over me, cuddling on rainy days, the excitement of birthday celebrations, the comfort of whispered bedtime stories. We shared them freely, allowing every sentiment to merge into the locket like a cosmic tapestry. With each heartbeat, shadows shifted, revealing an architectural splendor before us, a vision of the widow and her daughter, framed in love, illuminating the dark night around them. "More," I urged, pouring every ounce of faith, hope, and love into the shimmering locket. "Let the tears carry you. Let them nurture the roots of your heart." The colors of the forest exploded, brilliant purples, blues, and greens, rising like embers from our devotion. Together, we created a mosaic of healing, our tears of joy merging with the energies shaped by the past. More shadows surged around us, becoming tangible, familiar threads that connected us to the widow's story. "You've unlocked the essence of what binds us," the widow exclaimed, brightness enveloping our hearts. "Now, reclaim the lost." In that blissful surge of triumph, our souls aligned, creating a pulsating rhythm that broke barriers and mended tears. The shadows danced softly, whispering tales of joy and loss, courage and fear, fusing into a flourishing bond between us all. Moments passed, fleeting yet timeless, weaving together a vision that transcended space and time, a journey of love that could not be extinguished even in the darkest of woods. The widow's luminescent form steadied, growing more resolute. "Take this love with you and create a path forward. Return home. Take me with you." With one last flood of energy, the widow dimmed, becoming one with the whispers, knowing she would carry the light unveiled by love. As the shadows lifted, a radiant beam of light enveloped the altar, marking the path that lay ahead. "Mommy!" my daughter exclaimed, We did it! Her voice rang pure and sweet, bubbling with hope and joy. We had not only found the widow, we had become part of her legacy, a celebration of light interwoven through the darkness. The forest around us transformed, carrying the weight of our encounter, offering solace and peace to the souls scattered in its embrace. As we stepped forward, the echo of the widow's laughter merged with the symphony of the forest, a promise of unity as we carried her spirit forward with us. Together, we would walk into the new dawn, forever bound by love and a deeper understanding of life, death, and everything in between. What was once hidden now illuminated our path, reminding us that light can emerge from the darkest of nights. As the last of the shadows faded and the radiant light enveloped us, I felt a profound sense of calm wash over my spirit. The forest, once ominous and thick with tangled memories, transformed into a sanctuary filled with the whisper of leaves swaying in the gentle wind. My daughter, vibrant with newfound energy, twirled in the moonlit clearing, her laughter echoing like music among the ancient trees. "Mommy, look at how pretty it is now," she exclaimed, her eyes alight with wonder. Indeed, the woods bore a fresh aura, vibrant greens and shimmering golds illuminating every corner, as if nature itself celebrated this reunion. What was once a realm of darkness now radiated an energy of hope and promise, woven by the love we had shared with the widow. "Let's honor her," I suggested, kneeling beside the altar where the mirror and locket lay, remnants of the powerful connection we forged. The ground pulsed beneath my fingertips, warm and alive, as if it remembered every footfall, every whisper of sorrow and joy. We should leave something behind to remind us of our journey, to honor her spirit. Together, we rummaged through our pockets and found small tokens. My daughter produced a brightly colored ribbon, its frayed edges perfect from years of play. I offered up a simple pendant that my grandmother had gifted me, a protective charm that had kept me safe for years. "These things carry love and warmth," I said, placing them on the altar, forming a small offering. "May they intertwine with her spirit, binding us forever." As the last item settled upon the altar, I noticed the locket shimmered in response, light radiating from within as if acknowledging our tribute. The whispers grew louder, coiling around us in joyful embrace, a song that filled the air, resonating through our hearts, a thankfulness for our gift. "Let's go home," I said softly, rising to my feet. As we turned to leave, I noticed the light now carved a winding path through the trees, illuminating our way, leading us onward. The deeper we moved into the forest, the more it felt like a protection had enveloped us, a guardian force formed from our connection with the widow. "Do you think we'll see her again?" my daughter asked, her curiosity shimmering under the canopy of stars. "I believe she will always be with us, in our hearts and in the love that surrounds us," I replied, squeezing her hand gently. As we walked, I felt the influence of the forest shift, the weight of every gaze from the shadows that had once felt so menacing transformed into a nurturing presence. I sensed a soft energy vibrating beneath the ground as we passed, a resonance of countless spirits liberated by the light we had unveiled. They guided us, being part of the fabric that now made up our journey. When we finally reached the edge of the woods, the moon cast a soft glow over the familiar landscape, illuminating our path home. But something stopped me just outside of the tree line, a sudden awareness that something vital had shifted. Trusting my instincts, I paused before stepping across the threshold. The forest behind me seemed to hum, a soothing reverberation emanating from the trees, deep-rooted and ancient. "Wait," I whispered. "There's something here, something we need to understand." I turned back into the woods, the quiet murmurs morphing into familiar voices, voices that felt like echoes from a dream. In that moment, The shadows danced, and I could have sworn I saw glimmers of figures weaving among the trees, spirits released from their chains of sorrow, drawn back into the folds of nature. I closed my eyes, allowing the sensation to wash over me, and with it, powerful memories flowed. The whispers grew clearer, vibrating with messages hidden just out of reach. "Do you hear that?" I murmured to my daughter. She nodded with wide eyes, mesmerized. The sounds blossomed into visions, morphing into fragments of stories yearning to be told. With newfound courage, I began to step deeper into the forest, my daughter happily trailing behind me. "Show us the way!" I called into the depths of the woods as shadows fluttered like a heartbeat around us, beckoning. We followed the sounds, feeling guided by unseen hands, until we reached a clearing surrounded by gnarled old trees. At the center stood a weathered stone, an incredible relic marked with symbols resembling those etched on the locket. "Maybe this is a place of healing," I whispered reverently, sensing the energy in the air pulsate with ancient love. Suddenly, the shadows thickened, swirling into forms reminiscent of the spirits we had encountered during our journey. They emerged not as threats, but as guardians, bearing the story of countless lives whose experiences intertwined with the widow's tale. I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude pour through me. "Welcome back," a soft voice echoed, the tone blending with the gentle breeze that caressed our skin. "You have freed us from the darkness." I turned to my daughter, who looked up at me with wonder. "Oh, Mommy, they look so beautiful. How did we free them?" I wondered aloud. "The love you shared, the light you embraced, has transformed these shadows," the voice continued, resonating like a song of healing. "Endless stories now flow through your hearts, including those of pain and joy, intertwined into a single woven fabric, the tapestry of existence." It struck me. The love we had shared today carried enough power not just to illuminate our path, but to reach deep into the very essence of those trapped in sorrow, returning them to the embrace of the universe. With this understanding blossoming in my heart, I stepped forward, feeling the energy of the earth beneath me as if it were urging me to speak. "We honor you," I said, my voice woven with sincerity. "Thank you for sharing your stories, for your strength, for your resilience." In response, the spirits glimmered brighter, a radiant light that seemed to lift the veil of my own understanding. My daughter, unafraid, reached out to touch the stone, her tiny fingers brushing against the smooth surface adorned with such heavy history. "There is greatness in unity," I channeled, speaking to the ancestors and spirits around us. "Even amid darkness, the light of love prevails, stitching together fragmented hearts." Every spirit within the clearing began to pulse, shimmering, swept up in the flow of our intentions, washing over us in waves of transcendent energy, bathing us in healing light. "Together we embark on a journey," the voice continued, echoing, "one that transforms sorrow into wisdom, uncertainty into faith, and love into freedom." In that sacred moment, I felt a resolve settle within my heart, a promise that we would carry forward the stories of those who had once been trapped in sorrow. I lifted my chin and held my daughter close, feeling the warmth of our interconnectedness rise higher. "Let us make a promise," I said, looking into my daughter's trusting eyes. "We honor their stories, and through our love, ensure they are never lost again." "Promise!" she exclaimed, her voice ringing clear. And as the final echoes of our vow intertwined with the whispers of the trees, the spirits danced into the night, their stories woven into our own, creating a legacy of love that will endure through all of time. Together, we stepped forward hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever awaited us beyond the woods, united by the light we had shared, not just with our hearts, but with every soul that ever longed to be free. As we stepped out of the clearing and into the embrace of the familiar woods, an unmistakable lightness filled the air around us. My daughter gripped my hand tightly, the warmth of her small fingers grounding me as we ventured back into the world we knew. "Mommy, what happens now?" she asked, her voice echoing with excitement and anticipation. "Now, we share our stories," I replied, my heart swelling with purpose. "We become the voices for the spirits and share the wisdom we've gained." I glanced back at the woods, feeling the ancient energy still swirling around us. It was as if the spirits were guiding us, urging us to reveal our journey to others. With each step, the trees whispered their secrets, creating an atmosphere ripe with possibilities. Suddenly, a rustling noise broke through my thoughts, and my heart raced. "Did you hear that?" I whispered, instinctively pulling my daughter closer. "Maybe it's a spirit," she said, her eyes wide with wonder, banishing my anxiety with her innocent belief. As we approached the source of the sound, a scruffy little dog bounded into view, wagging its tail excitedly. My daughter squealed with delight, her fear replaced by joy. "Look, Mommy, a new friend." "Hey there, little guy." I bent down, feeling a wave of warmth wash over me as the dog nuzzled against my legs. What a perfect companion for our journey. The pup trotted alongside us, an eager participant in our adventure. It was as if the universe was offering us a sign, reminding us that even in challenging moments, we were supported in unexpected ways. Arriving at our cottage, a sense of familiarity washed over me. The gardens we had tended, the memories we had made, everything felt alive and vibrant, a reminder of the love that had blossomed in our lives. "Let's make this our special place," I said, looking down at the dog. "We can create a sanctuary for stories and remembrance." My daughter clapped her hands, her enthusiasm infectious. "Yes, let's invite everyone to come and share." We began preparing for an evening gathering, arranging our living room into a welcoming space filled with lights and warmth. I scattered cushions on the floor and lit candles, their flickering flames illuminating our shared purpose. With our hearts full of excitement, we ventured into the community, spreading the word among friends and neighbors. The anticipation in the air felt electric. We were ready to share our journey and the importance of honoring those who came before us. As twilight fell, guests began to arrive, filling our home with warmth and laughter. I could feel the energy shift as stories started to flow, connecting us like an intricate web woven from shared experiences. "Tonight, we celebrate our connections," I announced, standing before our gathering. "We honor the lives of those we've lost and the lessons they've imparted. Together, we keep their memories alive." My daughter beamed at the crowd, her heart open as she shared her own experiences in the woods. Her innocent retelling of our encounters drew gasps and laughter, allowing everyone to feel the magic she'd found in those moments. As the evening progressed, we introduced an art project where everyone could express their connection to the memories we had shared. "Let's create," I encouraged, providing art supplies for everyone. The room buzzed with excitement as everyone poured their hearts into their creations, channeling their love and experiences onto the canvas. I walked around the room, soaking in the joy of our gathering. People shared their favorite stories, laughter mingling with tears as memories unfolded. Each story weaved together, creating a tapestry of strength, love, and resilience. My daughter worked diligently on her own piece, a riot of colors reflecting the beauty she saw in the world. "Look, Mommy, this flower is for the widow," she said proudly, pointing to her vibrant creation filled with hues of red and gold. "It's beautiful, just like the love we're honoring," I replied, my heart swelling with pride. As the candles flickered in the dim light, I couldn't help but marvel at how our evening had transformed into something truly magical. The gathered community pulsed with warmth, each person drawn together by the stories we had shared. It was then that I felt a shift, a presence in the air that brought tingles to my skin. "Let's come together for a closing circle," I suggested, inviting everyone to sit and reflect. As we formed a circle, I felt the energy deepen and grow stronger around us, as if the spirits were joining us once more. In that sacred moment, I spoke from my heart. Thank you for embracing this journey, for sharing your stories and connecting with our loved ones. We honor their memories as we grow, and through our shared love, we forge a connection that can never be broken. Everyone held hands, a wave of energy pulsing among us like delicate threads weaving through the fabric of our emotions. The room filled with love and remembrance, and we closed our eyes, collectively sensing the aura of those we honored. My daughter squeezed my hand, her heart echoing mine. "We promise to keep their stories alive," she whispered, her voice a gentle melody that wrapped us in warmth. With that simple promise, we all felt a surge of love, a reminder that life continues on. The echoes of our departed loved ones linger on through our actions and words. It was a moment that solidified what we had built together. As the crowd began to depart, the warmth of shared stories enveloped us like a cozy embrace. I looked around and saw faces glowing with understanding, hearts lightened by shared remembrance. Outside, the stars twinkled above like a blanket of hope, each one a guiding light that would illuminate our way forward. In that space of warmth, love, and connection, we forged a new legacy, one that would endure long into the future, fueled by every story and every heart that gathered to honor the past. Together, we ventured onward, hand in hand, into the vast tapestry of our shared existence, forever bound by those we loved and the luminous light that would guide us home. As the last of our guests filtered out into the crisp night air, I took a deep breath, letting the warmth of connection linger a moment longer. My heart felt full, bursting with the shared love and stories that had flowed through our home. "Did you see everyone's faces, Mommy?" my daughter exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "They were so happy." "Yes, they were, sweetheart," I replied, wrapping my arms around her. "It was beautiful. We've created something special tonight." I smiled, feeling the essence of the love we had shared weave around us, leaving its mark deep in our hearts. Yet underneath the joy, a quiet hum of anxiety stirred within me. Would we be able to keep this promise? Would our gathering truly honor those we had lost? My thoughts drifted back to the woman and her daughter, the widow who had shown us the way. I couldn't shake the feeling that our journey was not quite finished. "Let's go outside," I suggested, leading my daughter through the door into the sprawling night. The sky was a deep indigo, the stars imbued with their familiar glow, peeking down at us like old friends. We walked to our garden, the remnants of candlelight flickering in the distance behind us. "Look at all the stars," I said. "They're our guiding lights, just like the stories of the loved ones we carry in our hearts." My daughter tilted her head, gazing upward. "Do you think the widow and her daughter are up there?" she asked, her voice tinged with wonder. A wave of emotion washed over me. "I believe they are," I replied. "They're forever watching over us, continuing to guide our path." As if in response, a light breeze rustled through the trees, a soft whisper of reassurance. I closed my eyes, breathing in the cool air, and suddenly a vision of the widow filled my mind. She stood on the edge of the clearing, her radiant form glowing like moonlight on the water, the weight of her sadness giving way to peace. "Mommy, what's wrong?" My daughter's innocent voice brought me back to the moment. I opened my eyes, smiling, despite the tide of emotions battling within me. "Nothing at all, sweet pea. I just felt something really special." I knelt down next to her, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "This journey we've begun is so important, and together we can keep it alive." "Can we tell more stories tomorrow?" she asked eagerly, her enthusiasm brightening the night. "Absolutely. We can invite our friends again. We can create even more art and celebrate love." With renewed purpose, we turned back to the candlelit room, gathering a few art supplies to set up Create once more. Let's make a special piece for the widow and her daughter, I suggested. Something to symbolize the stories we carry. We returned to the garden and spread our materials across the grass, feeling the earth beneath us. My daughter chose vibrant colors, the reds and yellows she loved, while I opted for blues and greens, reflecting the vivacity of life around us. As we painted, my daughter began to hum a tune, a melody that sounded like something she had heard in a dream. I joined her, letting the music weave through the space, adding energy to our intentions. Each stroke was filled with purpose. Every brush dipped in color was a quiet promise to honor those who had come before us. With each passing moment, the stars began to flicker brighter, responding to the love we poured into our creations. Shapes began to emerge, color blending together in a harmonious dance. Soon, the canvas depicted a sprawling landscape, with the widow and her daughter at its center, strong and radiant, surrounded by flowers that burst forth with life. "Mommy, look! They're smiling!" my daughter exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder at the vibrant scene unfolding before us. "Yes," I laughed, delighting in her imagination. "They're celebrating with us, reminding us that their spirits are always with us." When we finished, I stepped back to admire our work. The canvas sparkled in the moonlight, radiating an energy that felt both profound and joyful. My heart swelled with pride and gratitude. This was our promise made manifest, a living tribute to love and connection. "Let's hang it in our home," I said, beaming at my daughter. The next day, we carefully transported the canvas into our living room and hung it above the fireplace, a prominent place that would spotlight the stories we had shared. Months passed, and that canvas became a focal point of our home, a constant reminder of the love we held in our hearts for each story we nurtured. Our gatherings continued to grow. More neighbors joined our circle, each bringing their own tales, memories igniting with every shared experience. With each story told, the legacy of love grew stronger. The widow's spirit, along with her daughters, nestled deeper in our lives, weaving through us like the threads of a tapestry. In those moments, when laughter reverberated through our home, I could feel their presence most vividly, echoes of empowerment and unity, reminding us that love holds the key to healing even in the face of darkness. One evening, as we gathered around to share new stories, a gentle warmth enveloped us, and I looked at my daughter, knowing our promise had truly taken flight. "Together we have honored their stories," I said, my heart soaring. "And through this journey, we've created something beautiful." With voices raised in unison, we proclaimed our commitment to love, understanding, and connection, a bond that would transcend time, echoing through the future, all thanks to the power of shared stories and the spirits that had guided us. Together, we had become the keepers of those legacies, ensuring that the light would continue to shine brightly for all.